Whew! Jeez. What a season it has been. Wow. Going from Sonic the Hedgehog to The Cat in the Hat. Now, Season 3 is now done. And now I can go and make other content. Specifically more Blu-ray collection unboxings. Or I should say for this and the next two ones, non-unboxings. And this is not a Criterion one, no. You will expect two of them coming in the next few days or so. But this one is a Shout Factory Blu-ray non-unboxing, to be precise. And I don't think this one should not be any surprises to many people, because if you have seen my home media collection, my first home media collection video to be precise, the Season 1 finale of Macy's Parade Balloons, which is episode 25, and my top 10 childhood films, this movie was, of course, at number 2, right under Toy Story 2. And this year, of course, marks the 20th anniversary of this movie. And honestly, when the movie came out, when I was 7 months old, obviously I didn't get to see it theatrically, but I couldn't resist on getting this. And yes, this is the 20th anniversary edition Blu-ray of Thomas and the Magic Railroad. So I don't really need any explanation about this. If you have seen my top 10 childhood films, you can check that out. But when they announced this, I was kind of excited, because they're finally putting at least something Thomas related on Blu-ray that is not the recent animated ones. I couldn't resist on purchasing this, and I got this around the beginning of October, and I have it in my hand. Now, obviously, I didn't unbox this when I got this in the mail, because I couldn't resist opening this. And this one, you do get the Blu-ray and the DVD of the film. Not the DVD that you got when you originally got it, back in 2000 or 2001 when it got a home media release. But this one, of course, is the Shout Factory version of it. And what you get, fortunately no slipcover, which that's a bit of a disappointment a little bit. But you do get the special featurettes. You do obviously have the deleted scene from the DVD, the Sunday Surprise, the trailer, and as well as the behind-the-scenes footage that I believe I found online. It didn't came with the Thomas and the Magic Railroad DVD here in the US. I maybe think it could be in the UK one, but I'm not sure. But what you do get in this one is a series of interviews done by the director of the film, Britt Allcroft, the two-part one, Al Baldwin, of course, who played Mr. Conductor, Mara Wilson, who played Lily, Dee Dee Conn, who played Stacy Jones, the Shining Time station manager, and composer Humming Man. Now, when it comes to the interviews, I really liked how some of them really finally talked about the original cut of the film, and that's the main presentation of why this Blu-ray came, is mainly because of the original cut of the film. Now, many people probably know of the story of the original cut of Thomas and the Magic Railroad, where it was originally a little bit different, but it was going to be a little bit more too much human, to be precise, and I'll get to that in a second. Lily was supposed to be the official main character. P.T. Boomer, who was a human character played by Doug Lennox, was supposed to be the main villain, who is a rival of Burnett Stone and would team up with Diesel 10 in the famous chase scene. Now, that chase scene has been up for a few years on YouTube, so you can easily see that. But no one hasn't seen the official director's cut of the film itself. And when this was announced, Blu-ray was announced specifically, many people were wondering, is they're going to show the director's cut. Some, like Diesel D199, I believe, said he doubted it would have been. But then came a big controversy that came out that the director's cut was somehow leaked. A rough cut of it, specifically. A full rough cut of the entire movie. And Britt was furious that it got leaked and demanded people who either put it up on social media or YouTube to take it down. Because that's when we knew Shout Factory was actually going to be releasing the director's cut. Although it's not really the full director's cut of the movie, it's like the deleted storyline scenes of the P.T. Boomer aspect. And I have seen them, and I will admit Doug Lennox is a very interesting character to be... I meant P.T. Boomer, I meant. Like, Doug Lennox's performance. Really kind of very interesting. Like, yeah, he's a biker man, but he is more like a bully. And I will admit, I do think it did better with the developments of both Patch, Billy Two Feathers, and Stacey Jones. I will give him that. But honestly, I know this might be a little bit harsh, but honestly, I thought the director's cut was a little bit worse. More so than the theatrical one. And that's... I know this could be a bad comparison, but... The director's cut would have been like what many other movies based on TV shows would do nowadays. Case in point, the upcoming Tom and Jerry movie. Although there's only one trailer, but you can tell based on that trailer that it's going to focus more on Chloe Grace Moretz, more so than the Cat and Mouse duo. And that's what happened in the original cut, where it focused too much on Lily, and not enough on Thomas or, like, any other characters. That, like, any of the Sodor characters or Mr. Conductor. That's why in the theatrical cut, I think there was no lead in the theatrical cut, because you go all around the place and try to match evenly with Thomas. But in the director's cut, it's just too much Lily. Now, granted, I understand, I'm not harshing on Mara Wilson, because I know that this production was not also her final film role before she decided to stop acting, until BoJack Horseman. But mainly specifically, I heard through the Blu-ray that her mother passed away during the production of this film. So I know I have to respect her for that, but it's not more of her fault, to be precise. And honestly, if that director's cut really came out like that, I think it could have been a lot more harsh to the critics. Heck, I would not be surprised if even both the theatrical and the director's cut, if it was like the Razzie Awards nowadays, like, I guaranteed, I'm surprised it didn't get any Razzie recognition, like for worst screenplay, to be precise. Yeah, honestly, the Boomer story aspect is interesting, but it's just too much human characters that we're following instead of, like, Thomas, because if they didn't set Thomas and the Magic Railroad, like, as the movie title, then it would have been a little bit more understandable. Like, just the Magic Railroad, or... I think somebody pointed out that... I think some users said it would have been better if it would have been called Shining Time Station, the movie. Which is odd, because some British critics consider this movie to be Americanized, which it kind of is, actually. Because you have a lot of American actors. Although, rest in peace, Peter Fonda, and Russell Means as well. When it comes to the director's cut, yeah, I honestly thought it kind of sucks, because it just, like, too much human development, focus way too much on Lily. So, yeah, it could also be, like, also maybe how bad the direction and the written is to Brit, so, yeah, like, probably as a great, TV show creator, but not a great movie writer or director. I know that's kind of harsh, but you have to give film criticism here. So, yeah. So, I might have to agree, like, and I guarantee the test audience did reject... This is a theory. I think the test audience did rejected the original cut, because people said it was too scary, like, for P.T. Boomer and the original voice of Diesel 10, or the original voice cast being old. And I honestly think they originally didn't want, like, I think they rejected because they didn't want to tell Brit that it sucks. I think that's the thing. I think the test audience probably hated the film. So, yeah, I might wonder, curious if that is true or not. If some of them would. As for some issues I do have with the Blu-ray itself, a bit disappointed we didn't get any other interviews. Like, obviously, they couldn't get in time to do Peter Fonda because he passed away last year, but they couldn't got, like, It would have been interesting if they did got like Michael E. Rogers, who played Junior, Cody McMahon, who played Patch, and even all the voice casting. And this is another issue I do have with the Blu-ray, that if there is one aspect of the director's cut they really forgot to mention, like, they all forgot to mention it, or basically skipped it. They really didn't go into development with the original voice cast. I'm a bit disappointed they didn't go into that development, where it was supposed to be like a liver-pumping, I believe that was a part-time taxi driver named John Bellis, who was supposed to voice Thomas. I believe Keith Scott was supposed to voice Diesel 10, if I'm correct. And even, no. Yeah, it was Keith Scott. Yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for that. And even Michael Angelis, which may he rest in peace because he passed away on, I believe, in the end of the spring, was supposed to voice Percy and James. But with them sounding too old, even though the characters have basically kind of grown up, if it's in the realms of the TV series, it's kind of disappointing. Not to grant it that I would admit that, like, Eddie Glenn does a great job as Thomas in the theatrical cut, but it would have been interesting to hear John Bellis' voice. Although they're in the leaked footages, there were some lines from the original voice cast, but from what I heard in the rough cut, it wasn't all the lines they got in the rough cut. Like, a lot of them came from, like, some of the crew members, and even Britt did a lot of the voices for Thomas in the rough cut, which, it's kind of a bit disappointing that you don't hear, that I think the only thing you hear in this Blu-ray is Keith Scott's original voice of Diesel 10 in the chase scene where he says, "Puckball, teapot, tin cannon." And I think that's it. But you don't hear any of the original voice cast. So that is an issue I do have, probably, is they really skipped the original voice cast aspect. So, yeah. For my recommendations for this Blu-ray, it's only, I think, specifically for, I would say, Thomas fans, or people who grew up watching Thomas, or the movie to be precise. And it's basically for the special featurettes. Would I go back and watch any of the special featurettes again, including the deleted storylines? No, except for probably the chase scene online, and that's basically it. Yeah, I don't like the director's cut. I thought it was a bit worse than the theatrical one. So, yeah, it's very odd to say that. And, my throat's a bit dry. But, many people are wondering, did I did this? And they're going to ask me this in the comments. And yes, on October 24th, I went to see Thomas and the Magic Railroad at my local AMC for the Fathom event on the big screen. So yes, I went to see the movie on the big screen. I wasn't the only one there. I believe there were two other men around my age. I don't think, like, around my age, I believe. And there was two mothers and I believe two kids were there as well. Yeah, and obviously I was social distancing. I was wearing a mask. And it was kind of a great... I was, like, in the back of the center of the movie, like, just to see it, like, in the back area, just to see how it is. And it was a great experience to see at least this movie on the big screen. That's the only thing I went to see, why I went to AMC, because back on October 24th, specifically to see this movie on the big screen. Even though it will be great to see classic movies, but with the recent cases been going up recently, especially our county right now, I don't think this is not a good time to go into the theaters again, or basically go out. So, yeah. But if there is one thing I would love to see Mattel, even though I don't think they would, do, if they would collab with Shaft Factory, is to do a set of Blu-ray sets of, like, it would be awesome to have Blu-ray sets of each era of the television series. Like, one dedicated to the classic series, one dedicated to, like, the new series that Hit did, one dedicated to, like, the CGI Miller and Brenner era, and one dedicated to the Big World, Big Adventures era. But with the recent news had been occurring with not just also a new theatrical movie being in development with the guy who did Quantum of Solace, Finding Neverland, Monsters Ball, Christopher Robin, and I forgot what he did as well. But he's the guy who is doing those films. Who did those films is going to be directing a live-action animated hybrid of Thomas. So, is it going to be original human characters like Lily, to be precise, that we're going to focus more on instead of Thomas and his friends? I don't know. And I did saw, the news of Mattel rebooting it again into a hand-drawn series from Nelvana. And I will be skeptical about it right now because, the first look of Thomas, the design is bad, but I can't really say much without, like, an official trailer, to be precise. So, kind of a little bit of a discussion right here. Not really one of the best Blu-rays that came out, but I will admit I'm kind of glad to at least have this in my collection. Will I get more Shout Factories in the future? As of right now, no. But maybe once I almost do like a big Criterion clean sweep or something like that. Not collect everything from the Criterion Collection. And once if we ever get back to normal, then when I can go out to stores again to purchase physical regular Blu-rays, maybe I could expand this more. But the next two videos you're going to be seeing are some more catch-up Blu-ray unboxings from the Criterion Collection, and probably one more that I can hopefully get officially for the month of December.